Alrighty, traders, welcome to our daily trade recap here for August 10th, Thursday. Let's just jump in and take a look at the markets today. So I'm going to jump into a day trading or a short-term screen here just to take a quick look at what happened on the day itself. I know it's probably a little bit more difficult to read, but we can see what the markets may have done during the day today. So CPI day, everybody's all excited, I guess, on CPI. I don't know why. But initially information came out, and let's get to ES so we can see what the whole day looked like. So as the data came out, we saw the markets, we're going to look at the 15-minute here in the middle. Saw the market quick little sell, but really a spike up here right at 9:30. We saw the markets up, down. The initial reaction is always usually the wrong reaction, down. We moved up higher on the day and off to the races we were. I would say by what time is this? About 10 o'clock or so, we were nearly at the, pretty much at the exact highs of the day. 45.44 on ES. And then as soon as that ended, we just sank down lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, bottoming out right around 2 o'clock-ish or so Eastern, had a little bit of a rally and then fizzled out into the close here today. So finishing closer to the lows of the session. So there's kind of the roller coaster we were on. Big open, big drift down, little bit of a bounce, and then back to the bottom. The bulls cannot seem to get control of anything here. The bears continue to push things down, but the bears have not been able to push it down too hard either. So if we look at the SPY, and we'll try to keep it quick today, if we're looking at what happened in SPY, on the daily, we just stayed inside the same range that we have been in for over a week now. You'll see that this little area here, which is right around that 44.4, so the 444 level that we've been talking about for days and days and days now, continues to hold. But this gray area here is really the gap that we created back here on July 12th. So this gap in the gray is really what we're looking at. Are we going to hold above this gap, or are we going to try to fill this gap? Bears have been pushing down. Bulls have tried to rally a couple days and then sold off. Tried to rally today, hit this resistance level, sold off, finishing just off the lows of the day. So still very, I don't know about very, but still a bearish look overall to everything that we're seeing on the daily. No reason to change your mind on that. And if we're looking at the weekly, MACD continues to look like it's weakening here. RSI is heading down. So really no changes on the weekly, except again, we talked about yesterday, we have a PSR bearish move here as we are near the lows of the week. So 4 days into the week here, and we're lower. Not incredibly lower, but we're just holding right above this support and gap on SPY. Still looks bearish. We still could be going lower. I think the 50 EMA here at 441 is what we're looking at on the SPY. The Qs, pretty much the same outcome here as well. Tried to rally up today, finished off the lows of the day, hanging right above the 50 EMA. Still overall a bearish look to things. We'll see how it shakes out tomorrow in the markets. And then IWM is not an area where everybody's moving into, because this is also selling off, and it's selling off just as bad, if not worse, than the other two indexes. MACD just having straight down, as well as RSI on the daily. We broke the 21 a couple days ago. We tried to bounce through it today, couldn't make it. We're down closer to the 50. I think this 50 EMA is going to be pretty much the point in the markets that we've got to keep an eye on to see if we hold or go lower. Bollinger Band's opening up. We're at the close at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. We'll keep an eye on what's happening. VIX did a whole lot of nothing today. VIX was up a tad, it was down quite a bit, and it finished almost dead in the middle. It's just seeing momentum leaking out of the VIX. Nothing exciting there. US dollar had sold off earlier in the day. Then it rallied. So we opened up, we sold off, and then we finished up just off of the open on the day. So again, the bears trying to push the dollar down. Dollar keeps wanting to move higher. So we've got these long wicks on a lot of days here where we're just not able to finish these things on the lows, consolidating quite a bit here. I did get a PSR bearish signal today on the dollar. So MACD is rolling over on this move here too. We are not getting any higher highs on RSI. And then on the weekly, it is a bit bullish looking. So weekly looks a lot more bullish than the daily. So we'll keep an eye on pretty mixed chart on that. And then TLT got absolutely smoked today. We're still eyeing this double bottom around 92-ish here where on the weekly, where we hit this 91.85. That's my target here. That's what I'm looking for. Let's extend this a couple more days out. But that's really what I'm looking for is that particular level. We are just off of that. We're at 95.59. I think we go lower potentially, even though MACD looks like it's reversing a bit here. RSI not on board with a continued move. However, momentum may not be on the side of the bears here, but we have downward pressure. So until something changes right now, we continue to look and I'm looking for this double bottom at 92 for a bounce. I still think getting long bonds might be interesting here. 6A on the day, down slightly on the Aussie dollar. British pound down a bit on the day because, again, you had the dollar up a fraction. The euro was up or was up slightly on the day, was up a lot more earlier. And then just couldn't hold it. So we were up quite a bit on all of these FX trades here in the other equities, in the other exchanges, but nothing able to hold. Oil just had a little breather break of a day. Still, the daily looks like a little momentum maybe coming out of the sales. I would not be opposed to a pullback on oil here to get long, although we did add some more oil trades today. Gold also continues to get weaker and weaker. MACD just driving lower. You got MACD about to cross the zero line. RSI heading lower. Gold pretty weak in here. We're not seeing any kind of rotation into gold whatsoever. And then nat gas, where we had big rally yesterday, we gave all of that back and then some today as nat gas came back into the fold. Great for our nat gas strangle that we have on. Bonds we've already covered, down day today. But on the day, because of the up move, we did get a PSR bullish reversal. We'll keep an eye on it. But I still think we're closer to a bottom than we are anything else on bonds. And I think you can get long soon or in this area if you have a longer term horizon. I don't think I would be long, in the next 2 weeks. But I definitely would be long on leaps or something along those lines. If we look at the sectors that we were in, most sectors were pretty much mixed or flat on the day. We were up pretty nicely early on in a few, but really nothing here. Nobody strong except really XBI. So on XBI, you had a little bit, about that. You had the biotechs moving a little bit higher, still in a downtrend, but RSI reversing higher, and so is MACD. So it's a good spot potentially, I think, to look at some bullish trades on the biotechs. We've seen them moving decently in here. Otherwise, most sectors doing pretty much nothing on the day, almost all of them flat. And if we take a look at a few quick stocks here, I don't think a lot of tech look fantastic. So we're going to spend most of the time looking at the dailies here. But on the daily, Amazon had rallied up on those earnings, had just been selling off inside day today, pretty indecisive on the candles. MACD getting weaker. I think you could look for, this 21, then the 50 as our areas. You also have this uptrend line that we've been looking at here. So somewhere around the 125. So I think Amazon has several support levels to go through before it turns over. Apple, though, has broken through most of those little support levels. Apple's broken through a couple of support levels. It's broken the 21. It's broken the 50. It is now it's broken the 3 ATR range. So you could see some bottoming action in Apple here. Am I going to get long and go crazy? No, but you did get an RSI or a MACD reversal here today, and you got RSI definitely oversold. So I think this could be an opportunity for Apple. I think we got to keep an eye on the next support down here, about 170-ish on it, and obviously the one that we're at right now around 176. If this holds up in here, I think you can have a chance for at least a little bit of a bounce. I just don't know if that's going to be another higher low, okay, or lower high, created. So we'll see what happens in here. But I think Apple's one of those things we got to keep an eye on. Downside looks good. Microsoft does not look too hot, although MACD trying to reverse, RSI getting oversold. But it broke this trend line. It broke some support in here. It bounced up to that and couldn't make it today. You got the 21 EMA getting ready to cross through the 50. So I think you've got some definite weakness here on Microsoft. So on Meta, same thing. We're breaking down through this 21 EMA here. So that's getting weaker, heading towards the 50. MACD and RSI heading lower. Meta does not look too good in here. Google looks okay. It's still in a bullish PSAR mode. It's also above its 21, which is above the 50. So that looks decent in here. I'm not too worried about Google, just like Amazon. Google and Amazon are the best look of all of them. If we take a look at NVIDIA, though, NVIDIA is pretty ugly looking, in my opinion. You've got we've had this bearish PSAR as we move down. We couldn't make the 21 again yesterday and failed. Today we tried up and failed. We're down at this support area here, right around 420, which is also the 50 EMA. If that fails, I think you got problems down into this area here around 345 or so, which is your next main support. You do have a gap to fill, and if we're taking a look at it, this is our gap area down here. So could we do that? Absolutely. I think we could look to try to fill some of this gap between 366 and 320. So we've got to get all the way down here. I'll stretch this out a little bit more. So we got to move all the way down here to about 317 or so. That's where we would fill that particular gap. And then Tesla also has a gap to fill here around 235. So as we look at Tesla, we've got a support area here. Then we've got this whole gap right below it. You've got this descending triangle, though, which could break to the upside. So all kinds of crazy stuff going on here in Tesla. I think you could bounce here and make a run higher, but at some point, maybe this gap has to get filled. So maybe we fill this gap a bit on the sideways slowly, and then we could break to the upside. We'll see. MACD really struggling to get any direction. So nothing to look at there. Right now, everything is a bit on the bearish side. All right, so let's take a quick look also at our account on the day. So here's what we did on the daily. Let's take a quick look. 810, 565 as our delta. We were able to get the delta down a fraction just inside of our 0.2 max range. Had to sell some hedges and actually had to sell a naked put today to move that off. We'll talk about that in a minute. 692 on theta. So theta is hanging in there, 0.25, one of the lowest areas of theta we've had. A lot of these have to do with some of the leaps and other things that we have going on. However, we did move up on the day from a net lick standpoint. BP did jump a tad on the day, 55%. It's been in this range for quite a while. Would like to get it to 50. We're only a fraction over. And we did close another $938 out today. So we are now up $2,900 in this account for the month. And that's a little over 1% on only the 10th day of the month. So we're 1/3 of the way through the month, and we're 1/3 of the way to our 3% realized gains for the month. So in there, almost $3,000 up on the month. And that's with the market heading down and sideways. So we're doing well, closing some great trades here. Let's take a look and see what we close. So as we take a look at the account, we had these 4 trades all come off today. So the first one we had was a hedge trade. This was a put that we had bought back on 7-Eleven. It's a 30-day trade here as a hedge put. It expired worthless. So that gave us a little bit of a loss, $245 loss. Then we were able to close a 0 DTE call spread that we put on intraday today. Nice $220 winner on that spread today. So that pretty much paid for the hedge. Then we had a strangle on the Euro futures come off today. $938 winner, 21.2% return on capital, closed it at roughly 50%, closed at 48.4 today. So that closed automatically. And then I did take off a naked put in ES for a fractional winner, $25 winner today, 4% premium capture, just about 1% return on capital in 24 days. It wasn't moving because the markets had been moving down. It gave me a chance to just take a small little profit and get out. But B, more than that, it dropped our delta by about 26 points. So it was a good trade for the overall portfolio because, again, we are portfolio managers more than we are looking at individual trades. I want to manage those portfolios by the key Greeks. Number one, I'm looking at delta. I need to keep my delta in line. Don't want it to get too high or too low. Want to stay delta neutral as much as possible. I want to keep my theta up. 0.3 to 0.4 would be the range that we would be looking for to stay in there. And I want to keep my BP usage to around 50%. I'm looking at those 3 things every single day. That's why I track them on this sheet. That's why I cover them every day with you guys. That is how we're tracking and managing our portfolio. You've got to be a portfolio manager and not looking at individual trades and individual returns. I'm really just looking at this number down here. I'm looking at how am I doing on a monthly return? How am I doing on a weekly? We've been pretty consistent. If we look at our weekly returns here, 3,000, 3,100, 5,000, only 74 this week, 9,000 this week, 3,000 on this week. And now this week that we're in, we're almost at 3,000 with a day to go. So that's what we're looking at. We're really just trying to make sure that we're managing our portfolio. And by doing so, we're going to be closing winners and we're going to keep ourselves in line. And we're not going to be hurt badly by anything that's going to drop the market or rally the market too much. Right now, a little too much positive delta. I want to get it down even further. I am a little bearish here. Don't like the way a lot of these big names are looking right now. Do not love the way the markets are looking. However, they're not in terrible shape. They're not indicating a massive sell-off anytime soon, but they're just not indicating that we're going to rally back to new highs. A great little sideways trend, perfect for us. Let our theta work. Keep closing winners on our strangles and our 112 trades, and just let those things generate income for us. All right, everybody, enjoy a great rest of your day. If you like this video and you got a lot out of it, please go ahead and click that like button. We'd really appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys all in the trading days ahead. So we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.